What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about AutoDS. I'm going to show you how to set it up for the first time and summarize everything that I've learned about this software through my videos with Lior, who's one of the people behind the software. I understand that some of you have had trouble understanding his accent, so I'm just going to summarize everything that I've learned and all the different features, and we're going to act like we're setting AutoDS up for the first time, okay? If you are interested in trying AutoDS out, it is $1 for the first 30 days. This will allow you to post up to 1,000 products, whether it's bulk or single upload. It also has a repricer that checks your products and dynamic pricing, which allows you to change your products based on the performance of your products. You will also get auto order credits to use with Amazon. So if you're fulfilling Amazon orders, this trial will show you what the auto order process looks like, so you don't have to deal with that. Again, it's for Amazon orders. And the last thing that you'll get is some credits for the AutoDS Finder items. And you can think of these as sniped listings. They are listings from a database that AutoDS knows other people have sold at least 3, 5, or 8 times this month, depending on the quality level of the item. The ones that have sold 8 times versus 3 are more expensive, yada yada. But we'll get to that later in the video. First, we're going to show you how to link your eBay account and then how to set up some basic pricing settings, okay? So when you first go to AutoDS, and if you want to sign up, by the way, there's a link in the description that'll get you the $1 trial. So if you want to do that, then this is going to be the first thing that you do after you create your account with AutoDS. And you're going to have to connect your eBay user, okay? So you're going to click that button, and it's going to take you to eBay. And for what it's worth, if you ever want to use a different email address because yours is blacklisted or something, you can add a plus and then some random text here, right? So I'm going to do my email address, jackdermotpittman@charlesparker.gmail.com. And then this is just an account I made real quick. And so you click agree. And then it's going to go back to AutoDS, and it's going to have the link here, right? So now you need to look at your profit and break-even percentages. For now, we're not going to worry about this. I'm going to show you how to go into your settings to change this. So don't worry about it for now. Just click submit. And then you don't need to worry about these. You can click not now. And then now we are actually in AutoDS, okay? So before I get too into this, let me explain what I just did there with the email, because this is a useful trick. So you can see here, I signed up for an eBay account, and it's actually, like, this is my main eBay account. But you can add a plus and then put any random string of text, and Gmail is going to treat that like an email before the plus sign. So I got this email even though eBay thinks that it's a different email address, so it allowed me to just make a new account. Obviously, if I actually uploaded the rest of my details in my PayPal account, then eBay would notice I'm the same person. And right now, they could see that it's the same IP address, but for whatever reason, I was able to make this account so I can just do this, right? So now let's get back into AutoDS, now that I went on that little tangent, okay? The first thing that you want to do is go into your settings for your pricing. I believe this is actually going to be an uploader, but we're going to look at the left here, and then look at settings. And this is where your token and all of your eBay stuff is going to go. And it's also where you can determine how many fees you're paying. If you're a US-based customer, then it's usually 13.4%. But if you're international, it may be more, depending on how much your local country kind of takes, based on if you're using Payoneer and other such things to get your money. Essentially, you want this fees number to be the percentage that you're going to lose of the transaction. So for most people, it's going to be PayPal plus eBay. And then if you want to add sales tax, but normally that isn't calculated here, right? So here you can also add a watermark and a whole bunch of other things. The main thing I want to show you on this page is that this is where you pick your subscription plan, okay? So when you start, you're going to be able to just do the $1 one, but after 30 days, you're going to need to pick a subscription based on how many listings you have, right? And then this is also where you buy auto order credits and item finder credits. So if you want to purchase these later, this is where you would do it. But for now, you don't need to worry about that, okay? Then you can also add other eBay accounts if you have multiple accounts. You can add accounts for virtual assistants to log into. But for now, we don't need to worry about any of this. The main thing I want to show you here is this keywords blacklist section, because this is really cool. Essentially, you can put keywords in AutoDS, and every time AutoDS sees those keywords in an item, it's going to either block the item completely, right? Block if it appears in the manufacturer, the title, or the description. So you could have it never be listed, or you could make it so that if that item shows up in the description, it's just removed from the eBay listing. So eBay will still post the listing, or AutoDS will still post the listing to eBay, but it's just going to remove that one keyword that it had, right? So AutoDS comes with a kind of base group of these keywords, but you could add as many as you wanted to kind of customize your experience, right? Like say that you're having problems with items that are marked as email delivery or something, and you want to get them out, you can just add a keyword here that says email, and then make sure that it says block if appears in title. See, super easy, right? And I really like this feature, so I wanted to show you guys this for a moment because it's really useful and you can do a whole lot with that, right? Essentially, any items that you have problems with, you can just come here and then place the negative keywords here so that you don't have to deal with those problems in the future. And it automates it. Like, you literally just don't even have to worry about it happening anymore as long as you're able to catch that. So I encourage you to think about this when you come across any kind of problem. Okay, so now that we've looked at that, we're going to look at how to actually set up your pricing. So I believe to do pricing, you have to go to the upload section here. And no, that's not what it is. Is it in monitors? Maybe it's in monitors. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so to set up your pricing, you need to go click on monitors and then click on general settings. And from here, we're going to be able to edit the general settings of the price monitor. Because when you start AutoDS, your price monitor isn't turned on yet, right? So you can see here we have this break-even percentage. We have an additional dollar. We have an additional percentage here. We have an option to end untracked listings. We have an option about not available listings. We have an option about what happens when the product becomes available. We have our default quantity section, dynamic policy creation, minimum allowed quantity in stock, and then a minimum dollar profit per product, okay? So I understand that for a lot of you, pricing is really confusing, and honestly, it's going to be confusing for a while. Like, you're going to need to do a lot of different experimentation with higher price points, lower price points, depending on your product and your strategies. You're going to need to experiment with your pricing, okay? That being said, I'm going to show you just some like general learning pricing that you can use and be confident that your fees are going to be covered, okay? So if you want to determine your break even, the break even is the point where your fees are paid off, okay? So this would mean the most expensive sales tax you're going to pay, whatever shipping cost you're going to pay, eBay fee, and PayPal fee. All right. But you don't really need to worry about break even a whole lot, okay? Because as long as you understand that, a lot of people get hung up and confused about it, but you can just imagine that it's 20% or 19% or whatever. You have to sell something for at least 19% more than its value in order to be profitable, right? So if I had a $100 item, I would have to sell it for $119 or more to be profitable, even if I'm paying a high sales tax, okay? I think the highest sales tax is like 6%. So it's 19 because you want your PayPal fee covered, your eBay fee covered, and your sales tax fee covered, right? There are going to be some situations where, item goes to California and the item is profitable when it goes to Maryland, but not when it goes to California, right? And that's because the sales tax is higher in California, and you can often get sales tax removed completely, but not from every state, right? So this is something you're going to deal with and learn more about. But essentially, you can think of 19% as your break-even point. Again, if you have a $100 product, you have to sell it for $119 or more to earn any money at all, okay? And so essentially, what happens here is you have your break-even and your additional percentage, and then these two numbers, determine what your total markup is. So in this case, the total markup is 1.29, so almost 1.3. This isn't going to give you very much profit at all per sale unless the item is much more expensive, right? A 10% profit on like a $13 item, it's like $1, right? So don't expect too much. Honestly, with dropshipping, it is better to use lower margins for learning purposes, just because you're going to be more likely to get sales that way. However, don't be misled into thinking that the only way to make money is to drop your prices. If you know what you're doing, you can sell stuff for more than other people and earn more money, right? Like, it's completely possible to earn $100 to $300 from a single sale. You just got to get a lot of experience and really understand the industry well and figure out how to get that to happen. It is completely doable. The reality is, you getting to that point means you learning, you talking to a lot of different people who are dropshippers and exposing yourself to as many different thoughts and dropshipping related information as possible. Never listen to just one individual, no matter how talented or how well you perceive that this individual does. Always make sure that you expose yourself to a broad range of different instructors and individuals. This is going to put you in a better decision for you to become more educated and for you to continuously stay kind of on top of things and kind of deal with more of the instability that's inherent in dropshipping. Okay, so I hope I've explained the break-even and additional percentage here. A lot of people get really hung up on this. If you want to use 1.3, you can, but you're going to find that your sales aren't that profitable, but you're going to have more of them. So you can either use 1.3 or 1.4, depending on which approach you feel more comfortable with. If you aren't fixated on getting sales right now, you are confident that you're learning and that you're going to figure it out, then you can use a higher margin, because then when you do get a sale, it's more likely to be profitable, right? But if you're really focused on getting as much experience as possible, you're not so worried about your profit right now, and you just want to get sales to get that experience, you can use a lower margin, right? So I would encourage you to either pick 1.3 or 1.4. And when I'm saying 1.3 or 1.4, that may be confusing, because here you see 19 and 10, right? And I know this is confusing. I'm just talking about these numbers added together. So these two numbers added together would technically be a markup of 1.29, which is a little bit below 3. So if you wanted to do 1.3, you would set the default break-even to 19 and your additional percent to 11. If you wanted to do 1.4, then you would set your additional percent to 21. Okay? And again, you're going to get more sales with a lower markup, but your sales aren't going to be as profitable. So depending on what you're trying to go for, you have to determine what you're going to do with your pricing. Okay? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's just talk about some of these other settings here. So next, we're going to talk about this not available listings here. This means that AutoDS is looking at the stock of your item and it's no longer available. It's gone out of stock at your source. What do you want AutoDS to do to your eBay listings? Normally, you want it to be put out of stock. Okay? But sometimes you want to just get an alert instead. Maybe you have fewer listings, you're only using like 30 or 40 items, and you have put a lot of time and effort into these, and you have problems with the stock or something. There are reasons you might want to do that, but normally you want to have this to put out of stock. okay? And then when the product becomes available, you want this set to raise quantity. This essentially means, all right, the item used to be out of stock, so its quantity was 0, but now it's back in stock, so its quantity is going to be 1, right? But if you want to have a higher default quantity, which is something I used a lot with my account, because I had like huge account limits, so I didn't need to worry about them at all. So I was able to set all of my items to a stock of 10 or a stock of 5. And what this enabled is for people to buy 3 or 4 of an item at once, which makes the sale more profitable because I would usually pay or accommodate for shipping, right? So normally you are going to want to have this set to 1 because your account's going to be smaller and you can't afford to have 10 of every single one of the items that you're selling, right? So next we have the minimum allowed quantity in stock. This is only relevant to certain sources, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Basically what this means is like AutoDS is going to look, and if it can tell how many items are in stock, then it's going to treat it as out of stock unless there's more than this number, right? So if this number was 5 and AutoDS could see that there's only 1 available, then it's going to treat it as out of stock. But you really don't need to worry about that in most cases, okay? So now you can see that there's a minimum profit dollar per product. This applies in addition to this, right? So imagine that you sell a $10 item and you have it set up this way for a 1.4 markup. That means that, or $10 with free shipping, right? That means that your item is going to be posted for $14. And ultimately, you're going to earn like 20% of $10, okay? So that's not very much money at all. It's like $1, something like that. So if you want, you can add a minimum profit per product, okay? So you could set this to 2 or to 5 or to 10 or whatever. And so what this does is first it applies this math. So it would go $100. Then we're going to mark it to 1.4. And now we're going to look, okay, how much product profit is that? Oh, that's like $20 of profit or whatever. That's more than 10, so we're going to be okay, right? Whereas if you were posting a $10 product, it's going to be like, all right, $10 times 1.4. All right, we're posting this for $14. All right, our profit is like $2 or $3. All right, that's less than 10. So therefore, we're going to raise the price to make sure that we earn at least $10 profit for this item, okay? So what this means is that for cheap items, your markup is going to be much higher than for more expensive items, if that makes sense. But for most people, you would just keep this as like $1 or whatever the default quantity is, okay? And then you can also look at these monitoring violations here. So if the product is alerted as being a Vero product, you can have AutoDS take it down. If the product is blocked for whatever reason, it can also get taken down. And if the item takes too long to ship, then you can prevent it from being listed in the first place or have it be taken down, okay? So once you've had all of this set up, then you can click Start Monitor. And these are the rules that are going to apply. But this is just the general rules that are going to apply. You're going to notice that anytime you upload items, you can change your pricing template if you would like to with the bulk upload. See how here it just pulls this default one. If you wanted to, you could add all these items and then change this, and it would override your default price monitor for this run of items. And so what you would do is you would also go like, all right, this is the Saturday toys that I added, that I'm using this different pricing point that I'm testing. And after you add that tag, it's going to enable you to very easily isolate these items from the rest of the items in your store. This means that you can have one eBay store that has multiple different pricing strategies within it, and you can very easily navigate back and forth between these items, okay? So now that we've looked more into the pricing, let's talk a little bit about the orders monitor. So we're going to go back to these monitors and look at the orders monitor. Now, this is really good. This is what I refer to as dynamic pricing. Essentially, you can make it so that when a product sells, the price changes. So imagine that you want to try a strategy where you post a bunch of items and they're all starting at break even. So you literally don't earn a single dollar when the item sells for the first time, but every time it sells, the price goes up by $1. So you become more profitable every time it sells, right? And this is a very interesting approach because one of the things that pushes your item up more than anything else on eBay is an item selling. Once an item has sold, recently sold, it gets pushed up in search results. So you're going to get more traffic because of that sale. So you can get an item to be higher in search results than other items, even though it costs more because it has a history of selling. So this can be a really interesting strategy to use. And all you would need to do is set up the orders monitor very simply to be able to have it do this, right? So we're going to look at what you would need to do to have the orders monitor increase the price of any item that has sold by $1, right? So what you would need to do is look at when product is sold. You want to raise quantity. Okay, you can raise the quantity to 1. So that's going to ensure that the item doesn't go out of stock, right? Because if your default quantity is 1 and somebody buys the item from you, well, you want to make sure that you then have set the default quantity to 1 again so that somebody else can buy the item. This is going to do that automatically, right? But you could also do this. If we scroll down here and click edit, you could click when product is sold, change price. And now start price range after 1 has sold, raise only for first sale or raise for each sale. So every time the item sells, we would raise the dollar cost by 1, okay? And then you can see here what the maximum increase that you want. So you can limit the increases so that it doesn't increase it by more than 25% or something like that, right? And also you can do the opposite. So if the item hasn't sold, then you can drop the price in response to the item not selling, right? So if the item hasn't sold in 15 days or 5 days or 30 days or even 90 days, then you can drop the price based on these parameters. And this is really, really, really unique. And I encourage you guys to use this kind of thing, because this kind of flexibility with pricing really, really, really enables you to experiment a lot more autonomously. So you can have items and it's easier to keep track of different pricing strategies, and it's easier to kind of take advantage of your items going up in search results when they're selling, and to change your prices based on your item's performance. Using AutoDS, you can automate that whole process, and this really opens the doors to a whole bunch of different strategies, okay? So now, I know I've blabbered on for a long time, but I really wanted to just do a really informative video about pricing and that kind of thing, so you guys understand why it is that I really enjoy AutoDS. And I understand I'm not dropshipping at the moment, but this is a really, really solid tool, and it's one of the best tools that I've seen. It's very, very fully fledged, and it has a proper customer service team, and the people behind it are willing to work with me and talk with me and show their faces. They're very I trust them, and because of that, I'm willing to do a lot of content about it. That's kind of how I show that I feel good about somebody, is by doing content with them. I don't really believe in saying negative things about people. I just kind of stop making the content. I feel that that's a better way to progress, right? So now that we've covered pricing and the orders monitor, we're going to get into the AutoDS Finder. Okay, this is a way that you can post products that other people have already sold. Okay, and in order to do this, you will have to load some Finder credits to your account. If you're using the free trial or the $1 trial, then it's going to come with some credits. Okay, and then you can pick the number of items you want to post. So maybe you want to try and post like 10 or 20, however many, and then you would click this one and then click upload. And what this is going to do is it's going to launch a bulk upload with some recommendations about your break-even point, additional profit, this kind of thing. And then you can pick things here right? So we could make a tag and be like, all right, this is the AutoDS Finder 8X items, okay? We've created that tag. So then we're going to see, all right, we want all of these items to have a default quantity of 1, okay? This is the pricing we want to use. This is what we want to do. We want to enable variations, yada, yada. And then you would just click Upload Products or Schedule Upload, depending on what you want to do. AutoDS allows you to post the products now, which will post them to a queue, and then they get uploaded. Or you can schedule the upload. And this is really cool because you can set all of these uploads up and then individually go and edit the listings before they go live on eBay. So if you want a virtual assistant to go through and optimize the titles or do any of that kind of stuff, you can have it done, right? Because on eBay, it's much better to have your posting be spread out over time than it is to have everything all posted at the same time at once, right? So ideally what you want to do is schedule your uploads so that every day you're posting new items, right? And what's really great is if you do this, you can have a virtual assistant come in and you're starting out with these sniped listings that other people have already sold, and then you can further optimize the titles and do all of this stuff and have all of that work be done before the item even gets posted. So you can get a VA to optimize the title and have it be automated. And you're literally just clicking this schedule upload button, and that's it. You have to do so little. It's really cool. Okay? So that's how you use the AutoDS Finder items. Aside from that, the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the auto order. So if you go to monitors here, and then you go to orders processor, this is how you're going to set up auto order for Amazon. Right now, AutoDS only offers it for Amazon. And if you are doing the $1 30-day trial, then you get like 30 auto order credits or something like that. And you're going to be able to do that here. So essentially, you're going to add your purchase account and you have to connect gift cards that are on the account, which will be funded using the auto order. And once you have it set up, it's pretty easy. All right, guys, I hope that this was useful. And if you want any more information about AutoDS or me to do any more of this style of video, let me know. And again, if you want to check AutoDS out, you can see you can see the link in the description. I also have a bunch of videos with the creators of AutoDS. If you ever want to look at those, you can search YouTube for Jack Pittman Lior. So that's L-I-O-R. I've got like 8 or 9 different videos with him showing different things about AutoDS and talking to him in person about various things, including stealth accounts and other stuff. All right? So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!